cold opens are what they are. And speaking of cold opens, it's over. Because this is episode 2 of 450 Splash FM. Latest fuck at night. You know how we do. We like...
My legs hurt.
We like goo. We like goo in our mouth. What? Huh?
So,
Who said that shit, man?
There's only 4 of us.
How I like it.
Evolution.
Anyway, pretty eventful week we have here. Almost the same as last week, actually a little more, because we're doing this right after the Dynamite that took place on September 29th. So we're going to be adding that into it because why not? We'll just start things off with the fun part. Todd, you have a Wrestler of the Week and Match of the Week that you were tasked with last week. So go ahead and get the ball rolling for us. Who is your... Start with your match, and then give us... Actually, no, start with the wrestler, and then give us the match.
Okay, it's good because you say that, because like the wrestler is a part of the match. I made sure to.
I
like,
also want to
keep
point
it...
out the point of this segment for Wrestler of the Week, Match of the Week. It gets announced, and the point is we tried to talk about it from memory. What we can remember from it. That's.
I'll be surprised if you guys remember this shit.
Oh man! All right, the floor is yours.
My wrestler of the week is the best version of this guy. All right, I want to hear nothing else. All right, this is my personal favorite version, the most underappreciated cruiserweight of all time, the longest reigning cruiserweight of all time, Mr. Gregory Helms.
It's supposed to be current.
With the do-rag.
It's all time?
With
it could be anyone.
Do-rag. With the do-rag, the sunglasses, the generic-ass theme that like people liked, that I like as well. The longest reigning cruiserweight champion. The dude who helped me watch Friday Night SmackDown every single goddamn week. I look forward to watching this man. Better than the Hurricane, better than Hurricane Helms, better than Sugar... I forget, like Sugar Ray Helms. Yeah, Sugar Shane Helms.
Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray, but that's a boxer, man.
That's also a band.
The match of the week as well is his match with Matt Hardy. No Mercy.
You remember this shit? Who remembers that?
No one remembers it. Like
only you.
No Mercy 2006 had King Booker on the cover with that dragon and shit. In North Carolina, the hometown of both him and Matt Hardy, and they had a match. To be honest, that was way better than like it probably should have. And this is the best version of Matt Hardy, by the way, as well. Cargo pants. Oh yeah!
I can dry hump a seal.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy strongly dislikes mustard.
Yeah. You knew it was the best version of Matt Hardy when he had those green cargo pants on.
I can't believe we're talking about Matt Hardy.
I can't believe we're talking about Gregory Helms.
Gregory Helms, Matt Hardy had a very underrated match that more people need to acknowledge, because Gregory Helms at that point was he had like this very long reign that was kind of building cruiserweight title. Like they tried like everything to try and like take it away from him, and like he was having banger match after banger match.
He was doing top rope neck breakers.
I'm pretty sure like a couple months after, like he'll have like a pretty good match as well with Jimmy Wang Yang. Don't ask me why I fucking remember this.
Dude, Jimmy Yang fucking rules. Yeah. He rules, bro. Yeah. Shout out Jimmy Yang. All right, Todd. Yeah. Well, none of us remember that match, so why don't you go ahead and give us a vivid picture? Paint this match for us.
Okay. All right. So it starts off with like some wild hot tag as action, right? Some back and forth, some loop-de-loops. You know, it's basically like a grappling affair. And you know, because like at this point, Matt Hardy still could not properly run. He still did that like little like stumpy like action
same
where
thing
like
he
he
does
held up his
today?
yeah, the same thing he does today.
Yeah,
He
I was
was
about to
doing
say
this
the
back.
same thing he doing.
He was doing this back in like 2006, so you know it ain't changed. Matt Hardy was fucking over, by the way, during this match.
Oh yeah,
Like I
no pun
understand that it
intended.
was in his hometown, but like I just forgot like how much people love Matt Hardy back in the
Same hometown as Gregory Helms actually.
yeah. But like Gregory Helms, like nobody acknowledged you.
He wore a do rag.
I have a
Wait,
question.
what's up?
If this match happened anywhere else but their hometown, would it have been a good match? Would it still be a good match?
It would still been a good match because at this point Matt Hardy was having kind of like a weird career run where he was over at the same time doing like mid card shit. I guess like the next year he would have his whole thing with MVP. That was that was pretty like cool.
Pizza
Like
eating contest.
2006 2007 Matt Hardy SmackDown, like he was weirdly over with the crowd and like whatever program he was involved with, like it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
Jeff wasn't there for them to cheer for, so they had to cheer for some type of Hardy.
but Jeff would come. He would eventually come, and like people would just remember.
Oh
Oh
God, I
right,
wish you know what?
Jeff Hardy was a cooler one.
That man was playing in paint, sniffing paint,
Yeah,
throwing it everywhere. That's all he was doing.
but yeah. Matt Hardy had like control for most of it, but then like Gregory Helms kind of took control for in the middle parts of the match. And then at some point, like they just kind of like they're both down, like they're trying to do like the 10 count and shit like that. Um, it gets towards like the finish, like a little more like nice exchange, honestly. Like this match was way better than it had any credit of being, honestly. And it got a lot of time too. It got like 16 minutes
Damn.
as well.
What
Like
first
They
match
made y'all
or
watch Matt
first
Hardy
match?
for 16
I th-
minutes?
I think it was like either the first match or the second match. I don't really remember.
I would.
Um,
Yeah, that would be a match that you start off first.
but
On
yeah.
pay-per-view like
So it gets to the finish, right? And friggin' they go to like the ropes. Gregory Helms goes for like a low blow, and Matt Hardy counters it, kicks him in the gut, twist of fate, and he wins. And to a weirdly massive pop, like not that massive, not like Stone Cold massive, but pretty like
Oh
big
hell
pop.
yeah!
Yeah.
One thing I took away from you describing that match, I feel like I don't see a lot of the referees doing the spot where they're both down and count to 10 anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't see it. I feel like you don't see it a whole lot anymore.
Oh,
People
also,
don't sell anymore.
yeah, people don't sell.
When you're elite, you don't need to sell, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like freaking, what else? One thing I loved about SmackDown versus Raw is that the referees had different shirts. This is kind of like a little like
Oh
weird
yeah,
thing. Well, the SmackDown referee drip is undefeated.
that Brian Hebner with the black and blue shoes with the blue top. Oh man,
Exactly.
That's elite content. I ain't
dripping, dripping. But just to get this one out of the way really quick, and Todd, we'd like to thank you for the Wrestle Week match of the week. We'll let you nominate who does it next week in a second, but this is kind of short, so I figured I might as well get it out of the way right now. The Wrestling Observer, reported that there's something up with Randy Orton as he was absent from Monday's Raw. Speaking on the Observer, Meltzer pointed out that Orton had also missed a recent house show that he was booked to be a part of. He wasn't booked on the pay-per-view, and he was booked on a house show, and he was not the house show, so something's up there. It's a maybe it's an injury, I assume would be the report. I don't know. It's not like the most gigantic news to anyone but me, but it's weird because anything, I don't normally watch all of Raw, but if there's anything I'm watching, it's RK Bro, so hopefully he comes back and it's not anything serious where the titles have to get taken or the team's gotta alter or something. But yeah, kind of weird. It's kind of been swept under the rug, so there's that.
you're afraid to hope like it's a mental health situation.
Yeah.
I hope he's doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he's not, shitting any bags.
Or Or it's either that, or this might be the second part where it might be like a dispute with creative or
Maybe.
fucking or Vince. I don't know. That to the point where he's not showing up, or I think he's still contracted for a couple more.
Yeah,
I think he's a lifer. He's gonna be there for his entire career.
Yeah.
But either that or
Listen,
Don't want to
Randy
see Orton all elite.
Yo,
Fuck
no.
nobody wants to see that, bro.
That's his real name, right?
Yeah.
Randall
Mark asked
Keith.
question.
Randall
Orton.
Keith.
Right.
Shout
So,
out
imagine
Randall
that.
Keith.
Imagine.
Shout out. That would be as big of a Randy Orton mark as I am. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, I do need him to be back on Raw ASAP because I'm pretty sure the only things I watch are his segments on YouTube when they're done. So Todd, if you want to go ahead and just nominate who's gonna pick that real quick, we'll get
All right.
back into.
All right. I went into a very boys like territory kind of thing of like nobody's gonna acknowledge Gregory Holmes. So I think the only person that can possibly top that specifically would be Mr. Jose.
Oh, Jose.
Damn.
Jose has
Well-
Wrestler of the Week and Match of the Week for next week, and then you got
Carl Gotch, man.
No,
George
nah.
Hackenschmidt.
I'm not- See, what I look for in a wrestler is a man or a woman that just tells a story in the ring, that's able to, connect with the fans, and also can just show up, give me 20, 25 minutes of good wrestling. That's
Yeah.
all I ask.
And just think about it.
And that's
You have over a week to figure out who you want. for
We're
both
gonna
of them.
see
That's pretty
something
hard.
from early '90s WCW, baby.
I would like to also
We'll
point
see.
out
We'll see.
the wrestler doesn't have to be in the match, so you could have a different match. Like Todd did it
Okay.
that way. I mean, I say this one time like it's never gonna happen again, but it doesn't have to be like you don't have to pick Johnny Saint against whomever you're going to, obviously, because you're picking Johnny Saint or someone like that.
But I like what Todd did. He did Gregory Helms, and then he did a Gregory Helms match. It would just
Yeah.
be weird if you pick any other match other than had Gregory Helms inside of it. So.
If there was a million Gregory Helms fans, I'm one of them. If there's one, then I am that one.
Make
If there
that
are
two.
no Gregory Helms fans left on this planet, then I am dead.
I mean, he's not like garbage. He's like a good performer. He's
Yeah.
a good performer.
I-
I can't fuck
We
with
enjoy
him.
got
him
the
a lot.
kiss demon, bro.
Fuck with him.
I enjoy him a lot. To this day, I mean, even the Hurricane was cool. Hurricane Flex.
General manager mode, I made him my freaking world champion. I'm not
All right, now
afraid
you're
to
going too
admit
far.
it.
You're going too far.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Being sick.
To segue from that really quickly, I do want to get back into the theme of the most recent Raw that just happened. There were a couple good things on the show. That was really it. That's really it. Obviously, the New Day was on there a lot. The Hurt Business came back. That's kind of cool. Sure, whatever.
The Shelton Benjamin and,
yeah,
and
Shelton
Cedric?
and Cedric with Bobby. Yep, they're back
Are you
together.
serious?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Remind me-
I guess it's like because MVP's gonna be gone for
Yeah.
a bit.
he got ran off TV, so I guess they're
That's
back
interesting.
together. Yeah,
You could do something with that. You could do something with that.
I think they did something with the New Day. I don't remember how much happened there, but Big E and Bobby had a cage match that was pretty good. Pretty good cage match. For the most part, the crowd seemed to be into it a lot. The crowd is eating up Big E. And I feel like anytime I watch Raw, you're not seeing very many reactions, but Big E's getting most of the reactions for the night. He ends up winning the match with a big ending off the top rope. And Cage comes up. His team is playing. He's got the belt in the air. There's a new challenger that awaits. Music hits. He looks at the stage confused. Out comes Drew McIntyre.
Welcome back.
Listen. They had continuity with that at least. Of like
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre wasn't supposed to like compete for the
Listen,
title if Bobby
yeah,
Lashley had it.
Don't
Just happy
Don't-
that champions are fighting for the belts instead of being pushed off. They're actually mad that they're losing their belt instead of running away from the title scene like they normally do. They did it with Kofi.
Yeah, it
Who
makes
did
sense.
it?
But that's not the most important part of the night.
I gotta see that.
It
Crazy.
ruled, absolutely ruled. It's in our chat. If you look in our chat, I did put it in there.
Damian Priest.
I'm
and
gonna be
Sheamus
having that on
also-
the YouTube as well.
Damian Priest and Sheamus also had a pretty damn good match as well.
Yeah, those two together are pretty good. Sheamus
Hey
is,
man, Sheamus been having like the career run of his life
yeah, some of his best
since
matches.
he's come back.
Him and Riddle at Mania. I went in that match not super high on Sheamus at all. And that match went crazy. So, yeah, but that's pretty much all that really happened on Raw. We can go ahead and go into a G1 discussion. We can all talk about how I'm a complete genius because not only are we just going to talk about the G1, we're going to specifically and especially highlight Mr. Zack Sabre Jr. for his incredible performance he's been having thus far. It's actually been insane.
A man with many names.
Indeed. Many holds, many cuss words come out of that mouth. In fact,
Man, he's got the G1 on his back right now, man.
yeah, that
I mean,
holy
how
crap.
can you start? How can only deserving is he's the only deserving starting off with those 3 challengers and coming out all the results coming out by submission. Who else? Who better than Zack Sabre Jr.?
Great old Khan, baby. Let's
Go to hell. Go to hell. I want him out. I want him out.
Yo,
No.
y'all doing a lot of talking like Great old Khan. Don't have 8 points right now.
He at the top of the A block. You're not lying.
Yo, you guys are very comfortable like Great old Khan might not finesse this. Man. I made
You
peace
won't
with it.
finesse it.
But
It's
I'm
not
looking at the
happening.
quality of opponents that Greater Khan and Zack Sabre Jr. has faced. It's you freaking Hall of Famers. Freaking Zack Sabre Jr. faced 3 Hall of Famers.
yeah.
And then God bless the opponents of Greater Khan, but Greater Khan and Zack Sabre Jr. are facing off in a couple of days. That's gonna be
Greater
Tongaloa,
Khan, Greater Khan beating no one with the Clarky Cat.
He
Alright.
beat Tongaloa, man. Nobody care about it. No disrespect to Tongaloa, but come on, man.
He's really tall.
You know he's not winning the G1. Yeah, he's really big. Buff
No
guy.
disrespect,
Hey,
no
big guy.
disrespect, but he was a bone scrub. He
Bonus.
can't play.
That oh man, I don't know. You know, I fixed my, not that my bracket even matters. I don't even look at it. I fixed the last second. You know, for some reason, something in my head told me Zack Sabre was gonna act up, and he did. And also, Kenta and Ishii had a pretty good match.
Yeah.
Probably Kenta's best match in some time. Dare I say?
Kenta, don't be shocked by Kenta, bro. Don't be shocked. He will give you good matches, and with Ishii is just an automatic
If
5-star
his
match.
shoulder
Oh,
not,
yeah.
his shoulder hanging on by a thread, he can.
Ishii went
know.
for the vertical drop. Kenta reversed it into a GTS attempt. Ishii slid out, hit it in Zaguri, and then Ishii hit a lariat. Got a 2 point so many 9s repeating. Kenta escaped a vertical drop and then rammed Ishii into an exposed turnbuckle and then used a schoolboy and pulled those trunks like a son of a bitch and got the pin. But it's still a good match. Still a good match.
That's it. Ishii and Goto making me look like an idiot right now with how badly they've been. They're making me look pretty damn stupid right now. Not
Six
gonna
nice
lie.
in, man. 6 nice in.
Speaking of Great Khan, he defeated Takahashi, Yujiro,
Okay.
with Peter. With
Okay.
Peter.
This just goes. God bless Great Khan. I'm sure he's showing out, but I don't know.
Yujiro escaped
know.
the Eliminator and hit a lariat. Got a 2 count. And then he went for the Big Juice, which Great Khan escaped and used the Sheep Killer to set up the Eliminator
Yeah.
for the pinfall.
Sheep killer.
He's bringing out some real deviant ass names.
Yes.
This is why I don't like him.
Are you sure it's not the ring gear? Like the giant fucking
I
question
like the
mark?
ring
Those
gear.
pants are garbage.
I
They're
like it.
horrible.
I like it. It's very cosplay-ish, whatever how you call it.
You know what?
and
Let's
it's
all
kinda-
dress up like that. Halloween. this year.
No,
I will dress that for
uh-uh.
Halloween.
You like
Listen,
Aladdin.
he looks like Aladdin if he was a gay male stripper, man. So
Sign me up. Toru Yano and Tongaloa had a match. Yano won in 10 minutes 46 seconds.
I pray for anybody that face Yano.
You got Yano'd. You got Yano'd.
He literally, he lost to a low blow schoolboy. And it's not getting any better than that.
No. And Yano having a his classic G1 run.
I hate that man. I hate that man so
Despise him
goddamn
too
much.
bad.
He's
Dangerous.
truly a spoiler. He's a true spoiler.
Sickening. It's really sickening.
You really don't see it coming either.
No.
You really have to pay
No.
attention to the match. And the matches in the match,
Nasty.
how you start it, and then in the middle of it, and then how it's gonna end. It never slacks. And
Yeah.
he always brings something new to your ass. He always bring you something new, and it's very entertaining.
Yeah, in this match, they didn't really go too full. They didn't go full comedy or like full serious.
No.
A little bit of mixture of both, which is always good with him. Also on this card, I believe Shingo and Yujinagada had a match that was really good.
Very G1 caliber. I enjoy that match.
It went 16 minutes, 51 seconds, and
It
pretty
was-
much the Last of the Dragon was the winning maneuver there, I believe.
I believe Nagata said that he felt kind of sad. He felt kind of sad that he had to retire from the G1, and then right when he was finding peace of not wrestling in the G1, he gets put in these matches before the G1 matches, and he fought Shingo, and hopefully he finds the peace
Yeah.
in him to know he still got it.
Yeah,
He could throw. He went with Moxley. Not too long ago.
Shingo dumped him on his neck. The back suplex
It's
in
great.
that match.
Blue
dumped him right
Justice
on
still
his-
got it. There's still some Blue
Don't
Justice
call
in this
him
world.
Blue Justice, man. Call him Blue Justice.
If you're God, he's the Blue Justice.
I will become
Please
God,
don't call him Blue Justice.
and I'm not
man.
telling you
Stop.
something that you don't already
He got
know.
choked out. He tapped out while we were talking about he becoming God. He need to win a
He's
match.
becoming a
That dude's
bitch.
taking
Is
it
what
up.
he's becoming, a whole baby
He's
back
taking
bitch.
it up in the G1.
Oh man, that is completely and 100% tough. Moving on now. We have the AEW Grand Slam shows. Boy, I don't even know where to start. Dynamite last week was insane. Probably the best match that I have seen on live TV in quite some time. Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson went at
Let's
it.
just get it over, and that's probably the greatest wrestling match that the United States have ever witnessed in the 200 odd years of history and of wrestling in this freaking place. It was tremendous.
I'm gonna put it at
say
number
all
2 to
that.
Randy Orton and Triple H at WrestleMania, but
gonna say all
You You what?
Y'all wouldn't know
Bro,
nothing about
I
that.
can't take y'all seriously with that shit, bro.
Y'all wouldn't know.
Randy Orton versus Triple H wasn't a good match. That head rest at the beginning was a masterpiece.
Y'all wouldn't know nothing about that.
Bro,
You don't
total
know
psychology.
storytelling. Total storytelling. To the core.
It pisses me off to this day, man. You had people breaking into houses, kissing your unconscious wife, punting your father-in-law and brother-in-law. And, like you start the match with a headlock, really?
Oh man, do you feel like they just gave up, right? Like, cause wasn't
Phoned
that they
it,
made
man.
didn't
I
they
ain't
made
gonna
it they
lie.
made it in that Mania? Was that the one with Shawn and
Yeah,
Taker?
with Shawn and Taker.
They phoned it in. Honestly, they probably
Triple H had some
phoned
bad
it in.
luck at WrestleManias. He has so bad luck.
He's the
I
biggest
think he's
loser.
very unlucky.
Biggest loser.
Yeah.
That was a weird
so.
sidetrack to get on there, but yeah, Kenny and Bryan went to a draw. If that was 30 minutes, that was the quickest 30 minutes of my entire life.
Didn't feel like 30 minutes, which is good.
I wish it would have went longer. You know what? Matter of fact, just disregard every other match on the show. Just let them go an hour? Why not? Why not? Why can't they just go an hour?
Britt
They
Baker
could've.
needed to perform.
They could have, but they added these little things between that and the main event, and it could have. And then we could have been talking
Yeah.
talking the greatest wrestling TV show of all time.
Yeah.
I
It
feel like the
was-
next time that they go against each other, like it might actually be a longer match.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
probably.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be
Probably
for
on
the
pay-per-view.
strap.
On
But
pay-per-view,
it
for sure.
Might
yeah,
not
it
had
was-
a strap by then.
Oh,
was-
quickly, I gotta give credit to. I was thinking in this. I watched it. How many times you guys watched the match?
Once.
watched it live.
I've watched it twice.
Okay.
The second time, the commentary wasn't that bad. It was probably good, probably great. I'm gonna say it was great. JR added his little thing. Excalibur obviously brought the fucking,
Look,
the
it's the
stylistic.
fucking silly string.
And then
kids.
Tony had a funny ass line that he said something about these guys, something in the ass, something like that. But
These
everyone
guys
brought
eat each other's ass. That's what he said. They
yeah,
eat
he
each
said
other's
he
ass.
totally said that. But just a quick shout out to the commentary team. Are they the best right now? No, but that was that they were perfect for that time and for that match. So
To be honest, I drowned out the commentary. I usually do for the most part in matches. Anytime
But
I ever
if you-
tune in, I'll hear something that just kind of just like will make me chuckle. For some reason, that's the only time my brain wants to listen. But yeah, I mean, Tony Schiavone's great. That's all I got to say about that commentary team. I'm not gonna go any further than that. Shout out Tony Schiavone real quick.
Yeah, but what about that
Bless him
next
for coming
match?
back to wrestling.
Next, I believe, was Stingy Darbs, the tag team name I've given them.
MJF and Brian Pillman.
Oh,
And I have some words for Brian Pillman, but go ahead.
You know what? I thought I wrote that match down, and it seemed like that match was so pointless. I just didn't write it down because I just simply have forgotten about it. Brian Pillman, though, this feud, Brian Pillman didn't look good in this feud at all. I don't know what.
He kind of looked soft. He didn't look.
He kinda. He looked like a bitch.
I'm saying that because he might listen to this episode.
Sorry,
So,
Brian Pillman. It's not your fault.
We love
it
you.
wasn't his fault.
Genuinely.
Love you,
it
Brian
was.
Pillman. It's not your fault.
It
Plus,
was
you came
but
out
it-
mad.
it was cool to see him with like a big time player, like in a main event type of storyline.
But you kind of you were fed to the line that is MJF.
Indeed.
Of course, he's gonna embarrass you. Tell you, he talked about his mom.
Oh, just
wait
where
till
he's
you-
from, his
wait till
dead
you hear-
dad.
Wait till you hear what he said about Darby. We'll get to that though. We'll get to that. Yeah, and obviously, if there was any doubt, MJF won the match. And after all, you know what? This is full circle. After all MJF said about Brian Pillman's family, how'd that match start? Wrestling moves.
Fucking rest hold, head
He
hold.
tried to out wrestle
Nigga.
man.
Not even a kick
It
to
was
the
pulling and
balls
punching.
or just a sucker punch. I just go in sucker punch the motherfucker.
Nigga was
If there's
pulling
a grudge
punches.
match,
Oh,
but no,
man.
I don't. I guess there's just the psychology is sometimes not there.
Pulled a
And
punch. After
They're
his
young.
dad, he got disrespected.
They might go at it 5 years from now. They'll be the greatest. They're probably one of the greatest, hottest freaking. I mean, not that they already are right now, but they will be in another echelon of freaking top superstars in the freaking wrestling. So,
Right, yeah.
They're young.
Um,
They're young. I liked it.
I mean, the match was like 10 minutes. It was 9 minutes, 20 seconds. Brian Pillman had Julia Hart with him, and he lost by submission to the Salt of the Earth.
Ooh.
Weak ass.
What a maneuver. Oh,
Brian
man.
Pillman Jr.'s finisher a bulldog from the top?
Maybe.
I don't know if that's
Did-
like a reference to his dad or.
I don't
I
know.
think it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I know Rick Steiner also did that. He broke Buff Bagel's neck doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Anyway.
Ooh.
Anyway, next match.
Find me, Buff. Find me. Find me.
Next match was Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes. Cody with Arn and
Some
Brandy.
mean words for this one too. They ended very disgusting.
Match went 11 minutes 5 seconds.
It
were
it felt longer than that, honestly.
Malachi Black defeated Cody by a roll up, I believe.
No.
No.
A roll up, and he didn't he get missed?
Got the black mist.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got black
Yeah.
mist in the
Okay.
face, man.
Okay.
The crowd was definitely polar opposite of what obviously the characters portray. They were pretty anti Cody.
Cody Rhodes really came out with this long ass cape, looking like Homelander from The Boys.
Stupid.
Like Soldier 77. Man.
Yes,
Yeah.
man, from Overwatch. When Cody, like, the finish, he gets him in the corner, he's punching him. He keeps punching him. He's just body shot. He hits the ref, and then Malachi just goes, I'm going to do my best Bushi impression. And he just
Hey
spits
man,
all in his face.
we gotta have a dialogue about Arn Anderson
Please,
falling off of
please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
forgot about
now.
him falling.
This
Let's
is-
not
I
talk
was
about
I
that.
wasn't
now.
gonna let us segue past that match without discussing that because there's no way you cannot. Arn is trying to get in position for a spot during the match. Arn is
And he was late for it. He was obviously late for it.
Yes.
Like he missed it. You could tell.
Missed
Way.
Missed it.
Oh my god. I'm rethinking the moment in my head, and it's funnier when I'm thinking about it right now.
And
It's funny.
he's
the
Arn's a big man.
the problem with it is that like he got up, the camera was focused on him, he fell down, the camera cuts back into the ring, and then you just see him back on the apron like we're supposed to pretend like that didn't happen.
he's trying to go from like on the hard cam side. He's trying to go to the right turnbuckle from the hard cam ropes step over and around the post to get to their side so Cody can hit him. He's really slow getting around, and then he just fucking falls. He just takes a sick back bump to the floor to a massive oh from the crowd. By the way, it was great.
And then he takes another bump for the spot that he missed.
Yes,
To take a bump from Cody after the Irish rip to the rope, and then he took another bump to the outside, which was as funny as the first.
And then Cody goes to check on him. He's yelling at Cody, "Why are you worried about me for?" And then
It was-
obviously, we'd already talked about the finish. Black Mist. Blah.
I didn't like the match.
It was unnecessary.
I'm not
For as long as
Oh,
it
we're
took
about to get a third match. But
for as long as
I
it
don't
took
know
to
what's
build
going on.
up, kind of hurt.
It's necessary for Malachi because he's starting off and he's $1 million already. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You could work him with the broom. He's fine.
Yeah.
But it's with Cody, and Cody needs to have some time.
That
on
dialogue
TV.
need to be started on him.
He needs his
they,
needs his time. He
He
needs
took
his
it all
moment
away
time.
and gave it all away.
they I think AEW's moved past the point where they need Cody. I don't think they need him anymore.
He's Hollywood. He's Hollywood Cody now. He could do like Hollywood Rock just went up and left and did his amazing things. Like Hollywood Hogan, how he did amazing things. This is just the third
Hollywood
reincarnation.
Dave? What about Hollywood Dave?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Dave Batista.
Hollywood Dave Batista.
I don't know who that man is. Anyway,
Like
This is just
he can show up occasionally, man. But they move past the point. He don't got to be there every week, man.
It could
The
be
crowd
worse.
not feeling him either.
He could be winning every single one of these matches.
True. He was doing it at a point.
That's okay.
and then people got mad, and then he stopped.
Listen, I maintain him being Anthony Ogogo was a necessary move because that man looked like some Nathan Jones type beat.
Yeah, that match was. I don't know what they thought.
With all due respect.
I mean, I'm not trying to get punched by a go-go.
No,
Oh,
absolutely not.
Anthony Ogogo can beat my ass, man.
Don't mean he could do a collar and elbow, kid. You know,
Man, I can't either.
lace my boots, son.
I love how Ogogo punched like Austin Gunn, and supposedly he was out indefinitely for like the whole year, and how he's back as a heel, as a master heel
Rightfully so.
with his dad,
His
another
dad,
master heel.
Billy, I'm naked. She's naked. They're all naked.
guy.
Everyone's naked.
Shout out Austin Gunn, best wrestler in the world right now.
That's funny because his brother's Colton, and that's the best wrestler in the world right now.
Also, another master heel.
Sorry, it's Colton.
Indeed. Anyway, next match was the match I jumped ahead of myself by skipping the MJF Brian Pillman one. Stingy Darbs against FTR. They won. Sting and Darbs won by submission. It was a 9-minute match.
Please stop calling him Darbs.
Oh,
Please.
Old Darbs. That's what 2.0 called me. We call him Darbs. Hey Darbs. You know, when they're cutting promos on him. It was a fun little match.
That's
Sting
good.
switched up his face paint. That was pretty cool. He's got a little face paint. The only thing that really stands out to me is during the finish, the Scorpion Deathlock is in on Dax Hardwood, and Darby's like hung up in the corner, and he gets up and just does the coffin drop to Wheeler.
That was nasty.
Yeah,
That was nasty.
That
I've
was
never seen that before.
phenomenal.
And
Um,
obviously, you get something new with Darby Allin. But that's just another thing where you've never seen.
Kind of wild that Sting worked the whole match.
Yeah, Sting
Didn't
did.
notice it.
Sting did good. FTR, the whole point
He
they wanted
confirmed
to
that.
they wanted to humiliate Sting for Tully. Obviously that didn't work too well. It's never worked too well on Tully's end against the old Stinger, has it? We'll move on next. I believe after that was the main event of Dynamite Grand Slam. Dr. Britt Baker,
Was
DMD, right? And Ruby Soho.
I think
It's from last week, so I can't. My memory's shot.
Yep, that's the main event.
Yeah, it went. It wasn't the longest match of the night, but it was the second longest, so that's so cool. Britt Baker defeated Ruby Soho by submission, of course, to retain the belt because she's the baddest bitch in the game. As she reminds us every week. It was a pretty good match. I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was one of Britt's better ones, in my humble opinion. She has this really cool air raid spot from the top. Like she just drops Ruby on her neck. That was really cool. Going in, I don't know if I really believed Ruby was gonna win, to be honest. I mean, I thought she was super white hot. But as the match was coming, I was like, yeah, I don't think Britt's gonna lose. I thought maybe when we were discussing it before, it was a possible chance, but I don't know. Something in my gut just told me otherwise about that match.
I never believed it. I ain't gonna lie.
Still a good match. I don't think anything on that show was gonna top Kenny and Brian, regardless. But that was a good show overall. I thought it was really good. I thought it was one of the better Dynamites.
Yeah,
actually.
that was really good.
One of the memorable ones that you'll probably go back to once when you look back at AEW. That's one of the matches or one of the shows you're thinking about first.
And speaking of memorable, on the Rampage, CM Punk had his first televised match in 7 years because
CM Trunks.
CM Trunks. He had the Trunks back. Finally, made me
Yes,
happy,
sir.
made me smile.
Now we could get on this world title run.
Yeah, take it. Hold it longer than Bruno. That's really the only thing That's really the only thing I saw on the Rampage. I thought Hobbs looked fucking awesome. Oh man, I love Hobbs.
Spine Buster.
Big Willie Hobbs. Oh, I love Willie Hobbs. I think Willie Hobbs is awesome.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Powerhouse
Willie Hobbs is that guy.
Of course, he had Hook.
Future champion for sure. Future champion.
Yes, and it's gonna be glorious.
Yeah.
CM Punk did the elbow. CM Punk did the elbow.
Yeah, he did the elbow. It was all right, man. Max Caster, Max Caster could eat your heart out. That's how you do a real elbow drop.
But why am I seeing hate about it? Why am I seeing hate about it?
CM Punk's elbow is terrible. It's
okay. It's not Macho Man, but it's an okay elbow drop.
It's just bad.
There's some real terrible.
It didn't look bad that time.
Even in his prime, man, that elbow drop looked very flagrant, in my opinion. So.
At least he tried. At least he gave Macho Man a shout out. I'll give him a pass just for that alone. Yeah, like I said, I didn't watch any of the rest of the show. I don't know if any of you guys did.
The lights out match with Suzuki and
I didn't actually get to watch that one.
I didn't get to watch that one.
I tuned into the main event because of one man. Homicide.
Oh,
Everyone. I want you all to know you have tuned in to a Homicide fan club. This is a Homicide stan account. You understand me?
We don't tolerate homicide slander around here.
I went out of my way.
I'm gonna set the scene real quick. I'm gonna set the scene.
Do it.
New York City.
Beautiful.
Freaking Arthur Ashe Stadium. Everyone's being loud. The heroes are being attacked by these two mean-looking villains, and then lurking in the shadows is Homicide. He comes out.
Some random
comes
song
out swinging.
Is playing. Yes.
You might get some collateral because he will swing freely, and you might get hit, and you might be his best friend like Eddie Kingston is. and then D. Oh, Homicide. My bad, dog. Oh, my bad. And then the end.
Yeah.
But Homicide made that whole weekend.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Tell me lies.
That's hilarious. He also His bandana didn't fall off his face one time. That man stayed masked up the whole time.
Bro.
Masked up the whole time.
Bro.
I know the Men of the Year did defeat the Inner Circle of Jericho and Hager.
They did do that. I forgot about that.
Super
And,
Click and the Young Bucks.
No, and the American Top Team became physical.
Oh
Jorge
yeah,
Masvidal,
Jorge
yes,
Masvidal
forgot
with
about
the.
that.
Oh man, trying to remember all this is being a week ago is hard. Jorge, all of American Top Teams in the ring. Paige Van Zandt's like laughing. I noticed that the whole time she's walking around. She's like laughing. She whispers to like Junior Dos Santos, I think, or maybe it's Andre Arlovsky. She's like, "This is fun. This is fun." And then the biggest pop is when Masvidal comes out from the crowd.
And it was a savage knee. And I said it.
Looked
I said it.
great.
That was a
one
better
of the
knee
most
than a
better-
world champion over there. It looked
That's
very
a better
clean.
knee than Bryan
That's-
Danielson.
Oh, God.
Yes,
What?
yes.
You don't like when he screams out, "You will not escape!" Going for that V trigger for the 5th time that match.
He be taking tips from Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah,
man.
man.
That was
I also
good.
want to point out Jericho sold it really good too.
Yes, he did.
I was impressed with
Yeah,
that. He looked
I'll
like he
give him that.
looked like he died. Totally forgot about Jorge Masvidal even coming out. That's not that it was bad. Like it was great, but I just kind of forgot about it.
Well, it's funny. Everyone's being so active or beating up Hager and Jericho, and then he's just right there in the ropes hanging out. And then when the
Just-
time comes,
Just
The
vibing.
knee.
Yes. And then I know earlier the Super Click beat Christian Jungle Express.
Yeah, that was a good match too. I forgot about that one.
The greatest move in wrestling history happened in this match. I need that to be known. I need you all to understand that.
Oh, you
the-
talking about the
There is a camel
kiss on the
clutch,
cheeks?
the most
Oh,
violent camel clutch I've ever seen in my entire life by Adam Cole, just wrenching it, telling him to just screw off. And then Nick, being the genius ring general he is, he tells Matt A, let's go. They sprint off the ropes, back off the other ropes, sprint off the ropes again, back off the other side again, sprint to the other side, back on the other side again. Nick says stop. They kiss Adam on his cheeks, backflip, drop kick to the face. The greatest move I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm concerned why you got that down. You got that memorized.
Why
down
wouldn't I?
pat.
There are 3 things in life that matter. 3 things. Getting money, the Dewey Decimal System, and the Young Bucks kissing Adam Cole on the cheeks. Those are 3 things that'll make me happy. That's it. That's it. That nothing else matters. There was also Lucha Bros and Santana Ortiz defeating the Hardy Family Office.
Forgot about that too. Jesus Christ.
And Penelope Ford defeating Anna Jay. And that's pretty much the Rampage Grand Slam there.
it was a good
Yeah,
show.
yeah. I thought
Real good show.
from what I watched was pretty good. I assume almost the entire because it's Grand Slam. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna go all out. I'm sure the Penelope Ford Anna Jay match was good because they're both pretty good. They had a good match actually on tonight's Dynamite. That good tag match, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Up next, so Friday, it's time to shake things up again.
I forgot about
Yes.
that.
We have the WWE Draft. Todd, I know you're excited.
Yeah. Do you guys have like adverts for this match? Because like they just replay that like Vince McMahon soundbite all the time here in
Yes.
like Canada with the
Yes.
Canadian. It's time to shake things up
Yeah,
again.
Yeah,
Oh,
we got that
okay.
too.
We
Alright,
get
so
that
you
from
just get
Fox.
assaulted by it. All right.
Yeah. And then it's just,
I'm gl-
are you ready? It's so the way they do it now guts me. Literally take
Like
a
what
butcher
they
knife,
do.
cut my entire stomach open, and let my intestines fall the fuck out. Because I saw the order, and
Saw that
it's
too.
like Raw gets the first 3 picks, then SmackDown gets the next 3.
That's stupid. I don't know why they do it like that.
Here's why that doesn't make sense. If you're Raw, you could draft Roman and Big E. And why wouldn't you? But no, they won't. Because it just... Why not? Because the way these... Listen, why am I trying to put logic into this? The Fiend got drafted. A whole entity got drafted. Why am I worrying about this?
Hey man, never forget when Raw drafted an Italian, celebrated like that was
Oh
the
my
team.
Don't worry, Retribution also got drafted, and they're not supposed to be a part
Drafted
of the... They're not supposed to be a part of the brand at that point.
I'm gonna say right now, I used to love the draft.
Yep.
That I was the real Mart talking. I thought those balls really had Raw or SmackDown. It was chosen at random.
I
So
thought that way with Paul Heyman and Eric, where they spun the thing, or the very first way they did it, where they went back and forth and came on. I thought those are the two best ways. After that, where it's the like on the screen, and then the brand has to win a match to get up. I hate that because you just know, like even as a little kid, when it was still real, I was like, well, obviously SmackDown's gonna win because they need one more to even it out. Like,
yeah, I remember just those. I went Triple H. I was like, imagine. I was thinking, imagine Triple H went to SmackDown. How big would that be?
Oh man.
And then you just make these scenarios and scenarios.
You
of
know
who would
what?
go where.
Hey, he did in the 04 draft though.
Yeah, he did.
But he got traded back for Booker T and the Dudleys. What a haul! What a haul! Honestly, like,
would you make that trade?
I don't know. Probably, honestly, probably. Triple H is the biggest guy in the company. Probably, definitely, probably would.
And
but
Dudleys are probably your top tag team.
Yes, but at the same time, the number one pick in that draft was Rene Dupree. You know, so you know.
I love how they traded away Triple H like he was like an NBA disgruntled NBA star. they just landed a bunch of like future consideration picks.
Yeah, I mean,
and like package
they got
role
three
players.
really good wrestlers in return for Triple H, but Triple H obviously at the time is on a whole nother level.
You're getting 3 Hall of Famers for one.
Yeah.
You got 3 Hall of Fame for one.
That when you think about it that way, I don't know if I do the trade then. When you say it that way, because maybe I want Booker T and the Dudleys, you know?
Because you could, and then Booker T he had that good run.
He was still good.
He wasn't. It wasn't like you got fleeced.
No.
And the Dudleys had, I think they had a number of title runs. I think maybe 1 or 2 before they left.
And they when they went to SmackDown, they turned heel and started wearing the yellow camo. They were really good. Like they were really fucking
and
good.
Violent.
Was that when they like were trying to put like people like the one SmackDown they tried to put like Trish Stratus through a table? Or was that Raw? I forget.
Might have been a Raw. That might have been an earlier Raw.
I think it was Raw.
This was when
they were putting Mae
Dudley.
Young through tables and
This
shit.
is when Spike Dudley was the boss and he joined them.
They were so violent and so not them, and I was like, and just stone face fucking brutal.
That's when they used Bombshell too. They came out to get up. Yes, they were. I hated them as a kid, but like when I went back and was watching, like I went back and watched that draft and then watched like the couple Raws and SmackDowns after. I never went back after that, but like they turned on like Paul Heyman and Rob were in the ring, and they turn on Rob. It was a pretty good turn. That trade is still really wild. Like unbelievable. I just really like how they did it the first time. I think I like Ric Flair and Vince coming out back and forth, or they'd be on the screen to speed it up, announce the picks. 2016's wasn't terrible, but I feel like they really like just started to rush it. Like because Raw was 3 hours, they got more wrestlers, so they had 2 more picks or whatever the case was at that point. I don't remember. Exactly.
Remember when when ECW was involved, and then ECW got like 1 pick out of it would be like Raw, SmackDown, ECW. I think it was like so random.
I remember them drafting Bobby Lashley and drafting Boogeyman. That's it. Like for some reason, that's the only 2 that come in my head. I remember being hyped.
Kicking in.
Big Show?
No, I think he just kind of just crossed. He went when they had the battle royal between the 3 brands. Mm-hmm. Big Show was on Raw. Yeah. He rips off his shirt, has an ECW shirt, and throws Kurt out. I think it's Kurt Angle or Triple H maybe. Throws him out.
That was funny. That was funny.
The Big Show as ECW champion doesn't get enough credit. Like if it was like if it was like just ECW by itself, it would be talked about way more than it is, honestly, because he for like 8 months every single week he was bleeding and just he was working, brother.
I think at that point people were just kind of done with it because damn ECW.
They knew it
was an ECW.
No,
man.
I'm not ready to forgive watching that version of
Or
ECW.
forget.
I'm not ready. Or
We'll-
forget.
we'll-
I'm not ready.
We'll always have do-rag Vince. It's fine.
Okay, that's the only thing that was worth it. The
They
do-rag Vince,
speaking of Do-Rag
legendary.
Vince, they saying Do-Rag Vince been booking these Raws lately.
What up, G?
What up,
His
G?
finger with his 40 sticking his legs up, right?
Yes, the last Raw was full of the Hurt Business and the New Day, just left and right, all over the place.
Good.
Rightfully so. Two great team. The Hurt Business should have never been split up anyway, but
I
digress
didn't
on
understand it. I never understood. I thought they were a good tag team.
that. I
They
thought,
were really
they-
good.
Because in WWE,
Yeah.
stables don't stay around
yes, sir.
unless
already
you're
know.
the New Day.
You already know. Another thing to point out for this draft before I forget. It's being reported they're expected to be many NXT call-ups made during the initial draft. I know they always have the rest of the draft after, right? Like they always have the after-hour stuff where people get drafted or whatever. But the initial draft, there's supposed to be a lot of call-ups. That'll take place in a few days' time.
That just makes no sense. Just keep that entity far away because you're starting it new, and now you're taking
Yeah.
out
And the
things.
new
You're taking out
guys.
parts.
I'm
You're taking
thinking.
out
I'm
parts.
thinking it's gonna be more so people like Austin Theory and Dakota Kai.
Late night.
People who
I hope.
that
That
these
makes
people,
sense.
yeah, that they've been working dark matches on Raw and SmackDown. So I assume it's gonna be people like that.
That would make sense. But if you're bringing up Braun Breaker
Oh,
and you already
The first pick, Tony D'Angelo.
Oh,
Oh,
imagine. like that's some shit they would probably want to do, but then it's
Oh, man.
realistically, it's not a good idea, and you're still trying to build up these guys. And it's
Yeah.
been what, 2 weeks,
yeah.
3?
We'll get into NXT 2.0, but I've got a lot of things to say about NXT 2.0.
it's none of those guys. I think it's like the LA Knights.
Austin Theory,
maybe,
Dakota Kai.
Yeah, that
those guys.
The future Hall of Famer Tommaso
which-
Ciampa.
Yes, which to be fair, still calling up those guys is still, if you're going to use them, is still refreshing. It's as long as it's refreshing, it's good, I think. At least at first. I don't know about
Some
Austin
of the
Theory a
guys
whole
need
lot,
to
but
be out of NXT anyways, to be honest. So.
yeah. The draft will begin this coming Friday on SmackDown. It'll conclude on next Monday's episode of Raw.
Imagine that. That shit would have never happened 10 years ago. It
No.
would always be Raw first, then
Yep.
SmackDown again.
Yeah.
Tell which
Or-
show
or-
is you tell which one the A show right
Yeah.
now.
When you're on Fox,
I
Now-
knew I'd see that. I was always Team SmackDown. Whenever they did those Survivor Series, Raw SmackDown ones,
Yeah.
I was always Team
I
SmackDown.
think that everybody was Team SmackDown. I don't hear anyone bigging up Raw.
Oh no.
ever.
Actually, the year that Sean was in the match, I was pulling for Raw because of Sean.
Oh, the
the-
3 where it was him versus, I think it was Orton.
Was that the final two, him and Orton? Is that the one where
Orton.
is that the one where Taker comes back at the end?
Yes, and it's Orton. I can't. There are 2 other fuckers too.
Orton-
Survivor Series 2005.
Off the top of my
don't
head,
s-
trying to remember the teams: Orton, JBL,
Batista was there.
Batista. Batista was hurt too. I remember because of the feud, Kane and Big Show messed up his ribs big time. They kept double choke slamming him.
It was so
that's-
real too.
Yes.
That's so fucking real. Like you always watch the
It
show.
was
what
more
shit happened next.
emotional because that's around when Eddie had passed, and Batista obviously if Eddie's with Batista, I love Batista. Same thing that it was with Ray, and it was more emotional, more tearing at my heart because it's they're hurting Batista, that was Eddie's friend. So that was more of a thing for me then.
It was such a a brand.
Man.
That's your brand. And
Crossing,
then when
jumping
it
over
came-
and beating people up. Oh,
And then when it came to Survivor Series, it didn't disappoint, bro. And it was so fire. And the finish was so tremendous. And, so good. Good times back then.
the past couple years they would do the the NXT invasion, and then that was that stuff was cool, but it's it for some reason something about it just doesn't top how it was when I was a kid. I don't know if maybe it's because I'm older. One recent one that I did the SummerSlam match between Brock and Randy. How Randy jumped to the other brand and snuck up on Brock and RKO'd him. Even they were on different brands, but it was still it wasn't a Survivor Series match, but it was still cool because you're crossing brands to get at this guy. Kurt and Sean, when Kurt and Sean did that.
That shit was fire, bro. You when just popping out of nowhere and it's that motherfucker is from Raw.
It's-
What is he doing here?
Yeah, invading. Like invading. Literally, it's insane. And I hope brands get back to that. I really do. I know that they still have Survivor Series where it still is kind of like that, but it's
I don't like the way they do
I
it doesn't
hope
feel the
now.
same.
I
Don't
think
even team matches don't even matter no more.
It's
just-
more so like
yeah.
they only compete one day a year in that Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Like so the rest
I
of
would
the year
like
you're
to
not
see it
competing.
AEW. You could see that in AEW. Happen in
You
AEW.
already kind of see it just within the
You see
stables.
Stable War, yeah.
But
That'd be cool.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
nothing ever tops those brand wars, man. They were
No,
Brand Wars
no,
are
I don't
so
think
good.
it would ever happen again with that talent that they had.
While we're
And
on
it
the
would never be
subject
re-
of Survivor Series, that son of a bitch. Well, Bischoff screwed Austin out of his career. Damn it!
Lord.
Oh
so
God.
His dream.
I was so deflated when Batista hit that Batista bomb,
Oh God, I used to
I'm
hate
like,
Batista.
and I'm like, fuck no!
Oh, you just like Austin's beating up Bischoff. You just hear the evolution music hits, and Austin just in disbelief is turning around because Shawn had the match won.
Yeah.
Shawn bled buckets of blood, had the match won, and then somehow Randy Orton, who's not even conscious. Oh man!
Oh, and he
Every
turned
time I watch that
around
match, it
and,
upsets me.
and then,
Yes,
and then everyone,
just shock.
everyone is quiet.
It's quiet.
Everyone.
They're in Texas. It's just silence.
You could hear a pin drop.
That when a
So
match
good.
to this day still gets me, that's how you know it's good, man. A story was told that night, and it hurts. It hurts every time. Just to finish up with NXT here or NXT with the draft here a little bit involving NXT. According to Dave Meltzer, USA and Fox know a few things like. They'll say that. Don't say, "Oh Lord." Little key things like key guys. So they know the key guys. Nothing else is decided, and everything else is completely can change in a drop of a hat. NXT, there's supposed to be people drafted from there to freshen up both brands, but it could change completely tomorrow. One of Meltzer's favorite things to say.
Yeah. when he
But
lying,
the NXT call-ups are supposed to be a significant part of the draft. So I don't know how many there's going to be, but it's supposed to play a big part. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
Just don't do that shit where you get drafted to SmackDown. Stay your ass in SmackDown.
Oh
Don't
man,
go to.
what's
Don't come.
they be doing,
come
bro? What's that dumb rule they be doing? Then let people hop brands.
Oh
What's
yeah,
that?
the wild card
Wild
rule.
card.
Oh yeah,
I
bro.
mean,
they need to
but
get rid of that.
They kind of just bring it in and out like whenever they kind of feel like it. They've been less reliant on doing that, except like in terms of like certain people. Like
They
I
just
guess
did it
like
with Roman, I think, didn't they?
yeah, technically like they're not supposed. They don't do that often, but then they do. They like the rules just change.
I'm curious
it.
to
You're-
know if there's going to be any trades after.
But
I
who
did-
would be trading though?
I don't know
Who's
because
gonna
I remember in the end,
who's gonna be getting the James Harden sum of the trade?
I just,
1,700 first round picks.
I'm pretty sure one year Apollo Crews got like traded for like Heath Slater or something. Maybe I'm tripping, but I could have swore that was like a thing. Speaking of Heath Slater, his free agent thing was phenomenal. It'll never be topped. In terms of draft storylines, that was great.
That was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you know that was very genuine, and you know that was kind of pure, and that probably he created that whole storyline for himself.
Yeah.
There's
He
and
created
that's what happens when you trust your talent.
Yes.
Looking at you, WWE.
He created the Legends thing where he was shooting with the Legends. So that was supposed to be a different wrestler every week. And I think he said he was talking to Mike Rotunda and Gorilla, and he was like, "Why don't I just face the Legends every week? Make a storyline out of it." And he was like, Yeah, let's do that." And then sure enough, he got that thing. And then at Raw 1000, he gets beat up by all of them. And he gets clothesline from hell so hard he does a handstand.
Charlie
So-
Haas didn't do that. He did the other thing, right?
Charlie Haas did the thing that Damien Sandow did, where he was other people. He was
Yes.
Stone Cold Steve Austin at one point. Oh
Yeah,
man, poor
that
Charlie.
shit- Yeah. Hope he's doing okay.
Yeah. Ugh.
That's just crazy.
As far as predictions or major changes, I think the only major change just off the top of my head right now. Obviously, Big
Oh,
E,
Roman going to Raw.
Big E and Roman.
Roman going to Raw, bro.
Could be swapping. Or
Is that-
technically Big E is still on SmackDown, so maybe they're just like Big E to Raw. Ta-da! The New Day are back.
if
Because
you're sending Roman to Raw, I don't get that. I don't get it.
I think if I had to make a prediction on the first 6 picks, the first 3 for Raw, maybe they get the New Day, and then for SmackDown they get the Bloodline, and then they set up the Survivor Series feud that way or something. I don't know, but I just can't justify them picking the entire trio over like the other champions, like women's champions. You know, I don't know. It's also gonna be really confusing because if you're the SmackDown Women's Champion, you go to Raw, you're still the SmackDown Women's Champion, but then they're gonna change it to the Raw Women's Championship. So then it's just like, how does that work?
It doesn't.
Why am
It
I trying to
doesn't
put
work.
logic into this? You know what? Why does that matter?
Because you're lovely WWE stooge.
Vinny, Dada Vinny.
Yo.
Yo.
Now we can't put this on, bro. What are you doing? I have family listening to this, bro.
Vinny. They don't know what I'm talking about. It's whatever. I don't really know what my thoughts are. Like I said, I haven't been a fan of the draft in a while, so I'm going into it.
The draft
I'll
ass,
watch it.
I
I'll
don't
watch it.
blame you.
I'm going into
It
it
stinks.
with no open mind.
We should. Everyone should probably know the state of the draft after the first pick.
Yeah.
After that, it's like, yo, that's all
Natalia
that
go
matters.
number 1
If
overall. All
Natalia
right, say
go
less.
number-
Yeah.
If Natalia go number 1, I will be very upset.
Do you think they'll have the Fox robot again this year?
I don't know.
Oh.
I hope so, though.
Forgot about that too, man.
I just think that they exhaust you with having like 4 picks in a row, so you just like don't care. Like you just don't care.
It's just stupid. You get 3 picks in a row.
You do one at a time. It makes the
I
pick
could
matter.
pick the Universal Champion, WWE Champion.
I could pick
Becky Lynch, and I
Roman,
can stack my
Big
team.
E, and Becky, and I'd be like, what?
Yeah, your brand won't have a champion. Like, that's stupid. I don't get that.
What do you
But-
mean? They have the IC title.
Go to hell.
I just like
That belt needs a
it's
makeover.
it's not the days where if you were a really good wrestler from SmackDown, that means you're going to Raw,
Yep.
and that happened for years.
Yes.
Like every top person from SmackDown that year got sent to Raw,
There
and
was-
Raw sent shit to SmackDown.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Though when they
and
used
guess
to,
what?
when they used to do
SmackDown
the
was better, still the
shakeups,
better show.
when they used to do the shakeups like 2017 or 2018, SmackDown got left with breadcrumbs. They lost Miz,
Yeah, they took
Ambrose,
off-
Bobby Roode,
Yep.
Dolph Ziggler, AJ.
Yep, everybody from
Almost-
that 2016 SmackDown run got took and they got sent to Raw.
Yep, all of them.
A haul. It was robbery. It was so disgusting.
SmackDown got Andrade, Shinsuke. I think that might have been the same year because I think Bobby Roode went to Raw. Andrade, Shinsuke, Roman.
Roman didn't
Elias.
come till like 2019.
Oh. Well,
Like
all I
he
know
was fresh
is
off
like,
of beating leukemia after.
all I know is it was SmackDown didn't get much back. Whatever it was, they had Cena, and that was it.
Yeah, they have to give you that one superstar.
Yeah.
That one important superstar. That
And it's just
headline
like
the whole thing.
the biasness towards one brand. I mean, it's just flip flopped the other way now. But just because Raw is 3 hours, I get that you need more people. You don't need that many more people. Like you really don't. And at the
You
time,
need
they
to book the show better.
at the time they had the cruiserweight division, and an hour of Raw probably should have been dedicated to the cruiserweights anyway. But that's gone.
Those
That's long
cruiserweights
gone.
can cruise your weight, brother.
They
That
got
doesn't work
the
for me,
cruise-
brother.
205 Live got screwed. WWE
They
did
got
all the
no. They got
wrong.
chopped and screwed. They got
did wrong.
no wonder y'all couldn't sign Saber and Ibushi. They saw the vision. They saw the damn vision, man.
They would have been stupid if they actually signed with them, honestly.
Yeah, Lord knows what they would have had them doing. To be honest,
Zack Sabre Jr. went to work. He would have been getting booed. That wouldn't have been a good look.
but as far as the draft, that's really all I got. Just to hop in real quick to this week's Dynamite that just took place. There was the Brody Lee tribute shows in Rochester.
RP Brody Lee.
Yeah, R.I.P. Brody.
Yeah.
They had a T-shirt that dropped. All funds go towards the John Huber Foundation, which I thought was really cool. It's a really cool shirt too.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, by the way, did we talk about AEW doing that Owen Hart
We
tournament?
did not. I totally forgot about it. The King of Heart tournament.
Briefly.
I feel like
annual-
Briefly did.
we just kind of don't really know a whole lot about it to know what to say, but it's still such a cool concept. I'm glad it's happening because Owen is beyond underrated.
Quickly, who do you think should be in it? Right away, Danielson. Right away, Danielson
it-
has to be in it.
The type of person that have to be in it have to be just dudes that can just wrestle, because that's what Owen did. He just wrestled. Like, so you would have to. Okay, Brian absolutely has to be in it.
They gotta work, brother.
Yeah,
Oh,
dudes.
go get
dudes that
you
can just
get
work.
Jungle Boy.
Ryan
Yeah,
Danielson.
Jungle Boy can do it.
Adam Cole could be in there.
Yeah, go get some people from other. Go get Jonathan Gresham. That nigga can wrestle his ass off. Throw him in there for all I care.
Throw
You gotta get
Christian.
people that
Put
can wrestle
Christian
though.
in there.
If this that would be something that like an like you said, an inter-promotional. You could put
Like,
some New
yeah.
Japan guys in there.
They do that
For
for the G1. Well, I mean, I know it's not all the time interpromotional, but Moxley being in the G1, I mean, might as well have been. You know, it's
Oh, yeah.
it's a cool concept. I wonder if they'll do it like a traditional tournament. Could you imagine them doing it?
He
like
said it's annual, so I don't know if it's traditional. but
Oh.
He said he's doing it every year.
So
That'd be
what if they do the round robin format?
I like that. I like that a lot.
The
be
points, like
so-
they just take the G1 and like, hey, we're gonna make it Owen Hart.
Owen Hart was world class, so you should get world
was.
class wrestlers.
Owen would
for
have.
sure.
Owen at one point surely would have been the WWE champion. If he wasn't at that point, eventually it would have just happened. I think because once Austin goes out, Triple H gets a push, and then like there's Jericho, and there's guys that can wrestle, like that are
Wasn't
like
he planning on leaving though?
he might have
He
been.
was
I
very
don't know.
upset.
I
And making a blue blazer again. He did not like that. If I
Yeah.
remember.
I
Yeah.
think,
I
he
got an
would've probably-
idea, bro. And then Blue Blazer. But yeah, I think that tournament.
Yeah.
I think that tournament's a cool concept. I'm really excited for it. I hope it's got a nice trophy. I'm a sucker for like if the trophy looks good. Like
I love the G1 trophy.
like
Yeah,
I'm sucker for
that's
it.
Nothing
like
like
that's what I want to see. I want to see a
New
nice
Japan
beautiful
trophies
trophy.
are fire. The World Tag League looks kind of weird though.
Yes. Yeah.
It looks like two fucking pillars that you put outside your house.
I-
Freaking the gates.
I didn't mind the Dusty Tag Team Classic one. I thought it was kind of just. I thought it was unique in a way of like they had like Dusty's boots on it and stuff, but it was really big, like super tall, super tall.
Yeah.
But
And
I thought
Dusty
that
Classic.
tournament was cool too.
Yeah.
The teams they would have in there, like American Alpha and all that, like that stuff was cool too. I'm a tournament man. You know, give me a good annual tournament. I will watch
Did
it.
they get anything for the Brawl for All? Did they get anything to Bart Gunn after winning
Yeah,
the Brawl for
yeah,
All?
they got a free hospital
KO.
bill, a free knockout
Yeah.
from courtesy of Butterbean. That's
I
all
would've
he
taken
got.
the money, brother. I would have
that's
taken the money.
yes.
Just fuck the trophy.
But yeah, just to sum up Dynamite really quickly, it was an okay show. So Sammy Guevara beat Miro for the TNT title.
No,
Yes.
I did not know this.
I forgot you didn't watch it. You were at work.
I might watch it after this, though. I figured. I
so
figured the
the-
way they were acting like it, talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it after. You
Me
figured
and Randy
that.
we were watching it.
we
you
didn't
know, we were
believe
like-
because the match is
yeah, we didn't
built
believe it.
like a traditional Miro match. Miro dominates. There's that hope spot, and then he puts in the Redeemer.
we
but
thought Sammy
they-
Guevara was
they
gonna
went-
top rope, go for his move. He was gonna miss. Miro was gonna move out the way and put him in a
They
redeemer.
went.
and
They
make him
went
tap.
for a different. I mean, obviously, like some of the. If you watch both of them enough, you know what's coming. Like 5, 6, 6, 9 were laughing because I called Sammy doing a spot like right before he did it. I just knew he was gonna do it. So I was like, man, I know the ending of this match. Miro's gonna do whatever, and then
Fuego came running out.
Yeah. yeah, Fuego was the MVP of that match. Sammy goes to go to Houston, and I was
PTH.
yes, and I was like,
I think
wait a minute. I literally said to 5, 6, I was like, wait a minute, and he was like, hold on, wait, and then we
it
started
was that Yujiro moment.
Yeah,
that Yujiro.
we were
freaking
like,
yeah.
uh-oh.
moment.
We're like, here we go, and then it was like it's still a great match, still worth the watch, even with us explaining this to you. It's still a good ass match. That was really the only major thing besides the man of the hour, getting a promo package, and
But Adam
then
Cole and Jungle Boy match was good too. Forget
yes,
about that. That was a good
I
match.
didn't
That
see
was a
that
very
match
good
though. That's why I
watched
I
it.
can't wait to watch that match. I don't know who won that.
I'm not
It
gonna
wa-
tell you since I'm not gonna let you know. I'll
It
let
was
you
a
know.
it was a very enjoyable match.
It was a good match though.
But yeah, Leo Rush had a promo, shows up. He tells me about
Yes.
finances. I'm glad he did that because no other wrestler.
Leo
has
Rush
done
is
that.
all elite, by the way.
Leo Rush is all
yes,
elite.
he's not.
I guess he's not retiring, which I mean, people are allowed to change their mind. I know there were some people
Yeah,
that were
yeah, I guess.
maybe his shoulder isn't as bad as he thought.
Yeah.
That could always be a thing.
I hope he doesn't do New Japan dirty, bro. Because you signed and then you
Well,
say you're gonna retire, and now you're
So
signing
he
with
signed
another
with them, and
company.
he was gonna sign with AEW too because he was the Joker in the men's thing. But then he hurt his shoulder, thought he was gonna retire, so he didn't go back to AEW. I think this is him like going back now. So I think he'll still working strong and stuff, and then he'll have his like AEW appearances too, like Archer or something.
I don't know what he can do for AEW.
Me too. I'm thinking the
I
same.
mean,
Yeah,
it's your money. I ain't hating.
Put
I
him
just
put him
don't
in the Owen
know what
Hart
he can do.
Cup thing tournament.
Maybe.
Yeah.
maybe. But what are you gonna have him do first? Who are you gonna have him face? Think about it. Who you quickly? Who you think you
Jungle
can
Boy.
have
don't
him
have
face?
a
Jungle
Jungle
Boy.
Boy.
Not Sean Spears. Don't do Sean
Jungle Boy,
Spears.
Jungle Boy.
Pac, maybe Pac.
Pac would be good.
Yeah.
Talking a few with Andrade right now.
well-
And speaking of that,
It depends if Leo's a face or a heel. Don't know what he is yet. Speaking
I'm
of
kind of
Andrade.
interested.
Speaking of
I'm kinda
Pac and Andrade, like 566 said, not to cut you off there,
Mhm.
but Andrade hinted at bringing in two dudes to take tag titles from the Lucha Bros,
AAA
the
tag
AAA
titles
tag
specifically.
titles. Don't know who that's gonna be
Yeah.
at all.
That's interesting. I don't know.
Chavo's not there, so the other guy with the taser was his interpreter, and
Jose.
he was terrible. I hated it.
Don't diss my man Jose like that, bro.
But yeah, nothing too crazy happened. They had a 8-man or 16-man tag, 8-man, between the Dark Order.
I've never heard of a 16-man tag team match. What the fuck?
The Dark Order and Orange Cassidy faced the Hardy Family Office.
It's insane. That's insane.
The Dark Order is very dysfunctional. Alex Reynolds and Uno getting into it a lot during the match. They're all getting into it with each other. Uno and Stu and Colt just bolt out of the match. And then -1 and Brody's wife come out. -1 throws papers at Uno's head and tells him to get back in the ring. Anna Jay and Ty are also out there. He throws papers at Uno's head, which is really funny. Tells him to get back out there. Brody Lee's wife makes I don't really know what she's saying, but she's like motivating them in some type of way to like get in the match. Like she's tearing them a new one. And they turn around, they go sprinting in the ring, they all start fighting. And then they have their nice moment, their good moment. Also, only number 10 in -1 still wear the mask. Alan Angels just took his mask off. He doesn't wrestle in it anymore.
Oh wow.
So 10 just looks weird as fuck, a big brolic dude with a mask on. And if you've never
He's
seen
not even a bad-looking guy.
No, I was gonna say if you've ever
Dude.
seen Preston Vance, he's a handsome dude.
I've seen him in Roads to the Top.
Oh hell yeah.
Why are you watching Road?
Ride me to the top, Vans.
Listen. All right. Now this is kind of like an inner thing, but Total Divas had some entertainment value in terms of watching some wrestlers.
Oh,
I
man.
wasn't really much of a sucker for like the diva stuff, but like when they featured Dean Ambrose and now John Moxley on Total Divas, it was
he
it
didn't want to be on there?
yes, it was comedy gold, man. There's this one time where like some like dude, I don't know if it was a plan, like stole Renee's purse. And this man fucking sprinted it, looking like Usain Bolt, running him down and just tackling him to the ground, man. That shit was comedy. A lot of the time.
Anytime I ever saw any clips of him on there, he would have like his hood on, his sunglasses on. He was just
Dude hated his fucking life.
chilling.
Daniel Bryan hated his life on there too, man.
When John Cena as like a frat boy,
man.
this man would do like competitions with Nikki Bella, like turn into like the Deke dig skeets or whatever.
Oh,
and
please stop, please.
He would
That
do
was
pelvic
awful.
thrusts as well, man. That shit was hilarious.
And she would
I think
dress like
John
John
Cena's a cool
Cena.
fucking
She would
guy.
dress like John Cena with nothing underneath.
I think John Cena's a cool fucking guy to hang.
I bet he
Yeah.
is, man. I'd fist bump him.
Fist bump.
Fist bump? No fist bump?
What's his fault?
Anyway, to just all right, so to wrap this whole episode up here, since there's been so much to talk about, we've been kind of all over the place. We've got like 2 weeks worth of stuff. I have kind of given the idea of us maybe doing like rebookings together or fantasy booking ideas together. I thought it would be kind of funny. Like we could either split into groups and then come back at each other next week and then decide who. I don't know if we could really decide who's better. Obviously, the people listening probably could decide. Like leave a comment on who they thought was the best. But yeah, maybe we do that. I guess it depends on the feedback we get on it, or just kind of overall what we decide to do. Like for example, it'd be like booking like rebooking Daniel Bryan's title run, or rebooking Taker losing his streak. Who does he lose it to? Or just random stuff that happened in wrestling that could be fun to rebook or to fantasy book, I guess, in a way. I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Rebooking, fantasy booking.
All
it's
I'm
the
gonna
same
say
thing.
is have fun. Whoever get teamed with Jose, book it with his old ass shenanigans.
Bro, I come from the old school booking of fucking Paul Bosch and
Oh,
fucking
man.
Vern Gagne.
Oh,
And that's what led to the greatest wrestling federation in Roblox has ever seen.
oh man.
I
Oh,
will
man.
book the ever loving shit out of anything that you put in front of me.
Oh,
And that's why
man.
I think I feel it'd be kind of fun to book what would happen for Bryan Danielson in AEW. I
Yeah.
think that'd be cool. You have the limited possibilities and limited freaking timelines that you could do. So
Yeah.
that could be kind of interesting to do.
It could be like a rebooking of like the NWO and WWF, remaking the NWO in general, Evolution, putting in Mark
Oh,
Jindrak
yeah, we gonna
instead.
keep X-Pac out the group. That's the
Oh,
first
man,
thing.
that's
First
tough.
first thing on the list right there.
Yeah, but yeah, just so we'll discuss it between us, see what we like. Hopefully we'll get some feedback on it. We would love any type of feedback we can get back on this episode. About fantasy booking and about everything else. And Jose, you want to give the last words?
Women wrestling matters, black wrestling draws, and
Nigga, look at this.
Mark.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
a Mark.
And on that note, Sean O'Hare is one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, and his finisher fucking ruled. But I'm not telling you something that you don't already know.